wow, Wubsy, Wuzzlebird Idol.
Willard, like most people in the northeastern United States, referred to our mountains as Appalachians. I hate to say that. And, you know, it really got under all of our skins. And one of our great viewers, I don't know who it was, Willard appeared here in our area for a Fun Fest event and honored John Palmer, who is from Kingsport, and his drama teacher. I'm sorry I can't remember her name. I can see her face. But anyway, this viewer pitched an apple, and Willard, of course, caught it and looked at it. And the guy says, Appalachia. That's the name of the mountains, Appalachia. And from that moment on, every time Willard Scott mentioned our mountains, he always called it Appalachian.
WCYB, Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City.
Good morning. This is WCYB TV, Channel 5 in Bristol, serving Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, and the five-state area. WCYB TV studios and general offices are at Cumberland and Lee Streets, Bristol, Virginia.
People were watching Johnny. I remember going on a fishing trip in 1980 to almost Charlotte, North Carolina, and a guy had a cabin down there, and he could watch Johnny Wood. He would watch Johnny Wood's forecast at Lake Norman. I mean, that's a long ways away.
Piedmont section of North Carolina where they really need some rain.
It was all key where the first guys that started the station, put that transmitter there.
The transmitter is located at Rye Patch Knob on Holston Mountain in Cherokee National Forest, with the antenna 2,230 feet above average terrain.
That gave you the most reach. Robert Smith, the engineer, he figured out that was the best signal in the five-state area.
WCYB TV is signing on with a color bar test pattern. The color bars from left to right are white, yellow, cyan, green, magenta, red, and blue.
The TV station went on air in August of 1956. The original logo actually had significant meaning to the region. North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And that's why they chose the numeral 5.
And back then, the lower you were on the dial, the farther your signal went.
On top of the 5 states, Pentagon was 3 mountains, and that represented Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City.
News Center 5 is next on WCYB TV5, the news station.
People just grew up, watching Johnny, and we always used to kid. It was just like Channel 5 was soldered on the, in the old television, you'd have a dial, you had to twist to change the channel, but it was just soldered to Channel 5. You couldn't change it, back in the day, because everybody watched Channel 5.
When their contract expires at the end of next season, Waltrip says he plans to form his own team in the year 1987. I should have sold stuff or something, I guess. I could have made a fortune, I suppose. But
Johnny started out doing sports, and so Johnny would come out and film our baseball, football, basketball games.
Sports is fun to cover back then. I got to cover a state champion several times in football. Tennessee High's great team of 72, Coach John Kropp, and I noticed they've had some reunions. I thought, boy, these folks have gotten old, But then again, that was a number of years ago. I guess I've aged a little too.
The spring equinox comes up tomorrow. I believe it's at 5:56, and I heard that you can take an egg and balance it on the tip of the sharp part you know.
And it'll stand
And
up.
it'll stand up at that time, 5:56 tomorrow afternoon. Meanwhile, it's going to rain.
We'll try that in the midst of the rain tomorrow. Thank you, Johnny.
When I started working with Johnny, he was kind of known as the weather guy with the school closings and the fishing reports. And he had this identity where he'd kind of stumble over his words and maybe even emphasize that. But that just made him more real to people.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Tara Taylor. I'm Johnny Wood. Tara Taylor has another day off, and I've been up way too long this morning. That's the news wrap-ups, and what do you usually say on that? And that's the news, yeah. Sorry about that. Don't tell me I can't even say my own name.
Well, it looks like a beautiful day out there today.
Guess what happened this morning?
I give up.
About an hour and a half
Oh,
ago.
I know. Spring.
Spring sprung, and it's going to spring a leak and rain on us tonight or tomorrow.
He knew the people. He knew how to talk to the people. When he presented the news, it was like he was talking to them. People caught on to that, and they realized that he's just one of us.
People at home said, well, yeah, that guy, he just relaxed.
He was also fun and funny. But the other thing you had to know about Johnny was that he was a fierce defender of news journalism and of the ethical standards.
Yeah, I considered that a real responsibility, particularly actually when I got into morning television.
Also in the minds of miners yesterday as they gathered in Dickinson County, Virginia to commemorate the 6th anniversary of the explosion that killed 7 at the McClure No. 1 mine in 1983.
Johnny was really old school. He didn't really use a teleprompter very much. He'd go by notes, and he always wanted scripts.
We've got 41 degrees, cloudy skies outside right now. The Weather Scan Outlook calls for some more clouds today.
You know, of course, Johnny liked to always have his scripts. Rightfully so, because if you don't have your script and the teleprompter messes up, then you have nowhere to go with that.
Well, good morning. We have fair to partly cloudy skies this morning, but looking for some clouds to develop sometime today. There it is. Drop the thingy there.
We persevered through some pretty rough mornings.
This is News Center 5 this morning.
So I know the boss would come in and, hey, Johnny, how'd it going? I said, if you'd been in here, Bob, I would have quit. So I'm glad I didn't come in.
Morning. Closer look at the surface conditions the last hour. And we'll just forget that map there because obviously, we'll hit the button again and see what happens. Hey, we're getting a real color light show here today.
I kind of stole radio's audience. We had a terrible winter. Just snow after snow after snow. And so I started running school closings. I did my radio shtick on TV.
That school system is operating on a 1-hour delay.
You would watch Johnny to see if school was going to be out the next day when it snowed.
Growing up, if you wanted to find out if you went to school, if it had snowed, you would watch Johnny to see if he read off your name, your school system.
That's the way a lot of people found out whether or not they had to go to school or not, I guess. I was a real popular guy when it snowed.
Well, good morning, all my friends and acquaintances that stop and say, hey, when's it going to snow? Okay, it snowed.
It's a tricky place to forecast the weather. And while we don't get a ton of extreme weather, people do come to rely on the forecast when things get, pretty bad. So there's some hallmark, weather events.
And so we built up an audience pretty quickly.
WCYB was a powerhouse in Southwest Virginia.
You can't live in Southwest Virginia and not know who Johnny Wood is.
He really just was a perfect man for that job at that time, to just come into people's living rooms and share.
I got a lot of satisfaction out of that. So that's what I would do, try to tell somebody what the weather was, what they needed to do for that day as far as getting out, whether their ball team won or lost last night, and whatever happened, that would be the topic of their morning coffee at work or something, and that's what I strove to do.